Hey y'all, it's Nurse Kee, and we are back with a Nurse Kee podcast. This is episode 26, and I decided to kind of cater to my viewers, cater to my audience, and kind of give you guys an opportunity to interact with me. And I had posted something on Instagram and told you guys that I was open to, whatever it is that y'all wanted me to tap into, whether it was about me, whether it was about you, whether it was about neither one of us, and it was just about something that you wanted to hear. And y'all went crazy. So with that, I went through, and just for the sake of time, I knew that I wouldn't be able to get to all of it, but I went through and I kind of picked out some that I thought was very important to talk about, and put together an episode. So this is gonna be good. So this is episode 26, my viewer's choice episode. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are, healthy mentally, emotionally, all those things. If you're new here, my name is Nurse Kee, and I am a nurse, a mother, author, a woman that wears many hats, and I do many things. My ghetto slipping out. If you're not new here, y'all know I got a real special place in my heart for y'all. If it wasn't for y'all, I really wouldn't be here. So, with that said, I want to get right into it. My podcast is relationship based. I like to talk about things from from my experience, things that I've seen other people's experience, things that's very common, things for both men and women to grasp and that we all can grow from, so that we can just start to do better. Like, I wish happy, healthy, long term love on anybody that's seeking that. And I just feel like we got a long way to go. So, with that said, wine is sponsored by Lamont Avenue. Y'all know, best wine in the city. So if you see me, just in increments taking sips, this is what I need to keep this episode going. So, with that said, we're gonna get right into it. So, a lot of people was just throwing so many things at me, some that I feel like I've already talked about, so I didn't really um I didn't really take those questions, but some of them I feel like I could elaborate on and give my personal opinion on, because I realize people like to hear me talk, and okay, so one of the things that um my viewers reached out to me and said that they wanted me to talk about was how to have self love while having a kid when all of your love is going to your kid. How to balance out having like mom guilt and feeling guilty for doing things for yourself. To kind of cater to yourself and take some time away from being a mom and catering to yourself. So everybody who knows me know that my heart and soul belongs to Dallas. That's my 5-year-old son. Um, if you've been listening to the podcast, or even if you just know me, you know that long before I even got pregnant, I always wanted a son. I wanted my first child to be a son. I wanted him to be a mama's boy. I wanted him to look how my son looks. I wanted him to be how my son is. Like, I feel like I 100% spoke my son into existence. And I think that he is 100% tailored and was perfectly and especially made for me. I don't think that any woman on this earth could have given birth to my Dallas, because he is, all of him is me. Um, when it comes to having self love and it comes to like maintaining that, because you give so much of yourself to your kid, my what I like to tell people, like my friends and my family who struggle with this, I like to just say that just know that your kid ultimately will not be happy if you're not. So you can't really give anything to anybody if you don't have anything for yourself. So you have to pour into yourself. You have to do things that make you happy, so those type of things can pour out of you and you can pour those things into your kid. Like, a lot of times I feel like I'm overworked, but I know that I'm overworking myself. Like, I have the option to kind of make my schedule what it is, and I work just as much as my son is in school, just so that it makes sense. And I work so hard because I want my son to have a life that I didn't have. I want my son to have. I don't ever want my son to know what struggle is. Like, I don't want him to feel any amount of pain that he doesn't have to feel. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of times back in the day, people had to struggle. I'm not in a position where I have to struggle. So I can work as much or as less as I want to, and I can be okay. And I don't want my son to have to experience certain things. So with that said, I feel like, sometimes I overwork myself just because I'm trying to give my son just the most exceptional life ever. However, those little moments where like I take out for myself, where I'll like send him with a family member, or I I'll separate us and he can go in his room and do his thing, and I'll just be in my room doing my thing. It's just one of those things that needs to happen because I still need time for me so that I can be a mom. Like, imagine not making no time for yourself and everything is just like too much of anything is bad. So take breaks from your kids. Sorry. Take breaks from your kids. Like, do things that make you happy. Like, if it's getting your nails done, getting your hair done, getting your makeup done, going to get something as simple as a fucking wax. Even if you just want to go out and get a smoothie without your kid being in the back seat, like, do that. And it doesn't make you a bad mom. Like, for a long time, I had a lot of mom guilt. Like, I was very guilty about still wanting to have a social life or a life outside of my kid, because I felt like everything about my existence was now me and my kid, me and my kid, me and my kid. Like, I couldn't do anything without considering like how this was gonna make my kid feel, how this was gonna affect my kid. What is, like, I have this kid, like I can't just get up and go because I have this kid. Like, all of those thoughts come through your mind, you know what I'm saying? But one thing about it is, yes, your kid does exist. You chose to have this kid. This kid is a part of your life. However, you have to make time for yourself so that that kid can be okay. Your kid, one thing about my son, he don't love me no less. When he be like, "Mommy, can we play hide and seek? Can we do this?" And I be like, not right now. Mommy's tired. Or not right now. We'll do it in a minute. Not right now. We'll do it as far as tomorrow. Like, he don't love me no less. He just be looking forward to those moments. So what I will say is, don't just not give them those moments. But if you need some time for yourself, you need a moment to just debrief, and you need to just wind down, and you need to just do something for you. Do that. Do that. Please do that. It's so many people who put their kids before their own well-being. And it's like, I get your idea, but again, your kids will never be okay if you're not okay. Like, your kids will never be stable if you unstable. Your kids will never be happy if you unhappy. Like, you have to find a balance. You have to really be like, okay, I'm killing this mom shit, even when you feel like you not. But take some time for yourself. Get you a glass of wine. Do the things that make you happy. You know what I'm saying? Because your kids are appreciated in the long run. Like, don't make it so that when your kids get older, they are trying to heal from a very painful childhood because their mother was so invested in just them, like just them, and not so much in her. Like, by all means, do things that make you happy. Because one thing about it, Dallas is my pride and joy, and everything about him gives me reason. Everything about him motivates me. He is really why, like, I feel like if it yes, like about me, but less about me and more about him. Like, I get up and work as hard as I do because I know that I gotta put food on the table for my son. I gotta keep a roof over his head. I gotta keep clothes on his back. Like, he is truly the catalyst to a lot of what I do. However, when it's time for mama to have a life, mama gonna have her life. Because if I don't have my life, I'm gonna go fucking crazy. So, for the sake of not going fucking crazy, um, yeah, your kids are not mad at you for. It doesn't make you a bad man. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. If you work Monday through Friday and you wanna fucking go out Saturday and Sunday, go. Who the fuck is people to tell you that you a bad mom because you out in the club or you out at the bar or you doing this or you doing that? Don't let nobody put that on you. Like, You take care of them kids. Nobody's there when them kids are sick. Nobody's there when them kids won't shut the fuck up and they crying. They got all this energy. You don't have no energy. Nobody is there when the only thing that can soothe these fucking kids is your skin to their skin. Like, that is a real biological connection. Nobody understands that. Like, the love of a mother is unmatched. So please be happy. Don't take a backseat to your own personal happiness because you so focused on being a perfect mother. Your kid don't need a perfect mother. They need a happy one. So my advice to you is be happy. Do things that make you happy. Don't neglect your fucking kids. That's not what I'm saying. But make time for you and your kids because it's important. Another thing that my viewers wanted to talk about was one of my viewers, she struggles with being afraid to be alone, like feeling like she has to always be with somebody, like always surround herself with a man or be in a relationship because she's afraid to be by herself and she feels like it's holding her back. Like she feel like and I don't want to make it so personal to her. Like I feel like this is a lot of things that a lot of women struggle with. Like a lot of people, men and women, like a lot of people just cannot be alone. Like how many people do y'all know that get out of one relationship, get in another relationship, that doesn't work, get in another relationship, that doesn't work, get in another relationship? Like I know a lot of people try to convince us like the way to get over somebody is to get under somebody else, but that really is hindering. Like if you can't be alone, you will be, if you can't, think about it this way, if you have a problem with being alone, you will be up under anybody. It don't matter what type of company it is because all you worried about is just having a body present. You don't care about the quality of this person. You don't care about who this person is at heart, what characteristics they have, what motives they have, what values, what morals. You don't give a fuck about none of that just as long as a body is present because you have this complex with not being alone. But sometimes you need to be alone. Like sometimes you need to get real connected with damn, what the fuck is the word? Golly, why the fuck do I get on this podcast and be losing my train of thought? Or I be just losing solitude. Solitude is the act of being alone without feeling lonely. Like, I don't necessarily know that people have a problem with being alone. People have a thing with feeling lonely. Like, get more in tune with yourself. Get more comfortable with yourself. Do things where you can, like, everything that you can get from somebody else, you can get from yourself. So once you realize that, and I know it sounds cliche and I know it's like one of the hardest things to do because who the fuck really wants to be 70 and alone? Right? However, don't think about it that way. Think about it like I would rather be alone than to be in bad company. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times I done been in relationships with niggas where I felt like, damn, this nigga laying right next to me and I still feel like I'm in this bed by myself. Cause he here physically, but mentally he's somewhere else. Like I can't even get a conversation out of this nigga because he's so focused on something else. Like, so what's the point of fucking having you here? Like, we get so caught up in just wanting a body. We don't give a fuck who it is. Like, I was just having a conversation with my peoples or whatever, and I was just telling them, like, you know, niggas will fuck a rock if it'll fuck back. Like, a lot of times, we are willing to have just anybody in our space just for the sake of somebody being there. Fuck that. Have quality. It's not about the quantity, the amount of people that's in your space. Even if it's just one, it's about the quality. Like, why would you want to have somebody in your space that make you feel like there's nobody there? You can't talk to this person. You can't get nothing out of this person. This person is literally just a physical body in your space just to occupy space, and you're totally content with that just because you have this fear of sitting in a room by yourself. What you scared of? Your feelings? You can't even, what difference does it make? You can't even express your feelings to the person that's there, so why not just sit you might as well be sitting in a room by yourself. Don't become so dependent on the existence of other people because people can leave at any moment. And then when they leave, you be so in shambles and you be trying to fill that void and you be trying to just hurry up and just put somebody in that space just so that you don't have to feel alone. Deal with yourself. You can't convince me that you hate yourself so much that you just can't be with you. But you will go be with somebody else who hates you. Like, it doesn't make sense. So when it comes, and then I think the other thing that she said was that aside from being afraid to be alone, she feel like she settled for niggas because she feel like that's the best that it can get. but it's not. You know what I'm saying? There, while sometimes the grass is not, you kind of got to have discernment, right? The grass is not always greener. But sometimes when you just got shitty type of things, like when you just at the bottom, the only way you can go is up. Like when you've reached the floor, you've reached the pavement, like the only way that you can go is up. So don't get so wrapped up in thinking that you have to settle for mediocre shit because this is as good as it gets. Because I personally believe that we attract what we think we deserve. Like if you was out here performing like you deserve the world and you was just this super bad bitch who was so worthy and you don't want to settle for this, settle for that, you wouldn't. And you would attract people who wouldn't even bring you that type of energy. They're not even coming to the table with that type. They don't even want you to settle. They're bringing you the energy to where it's like, okay, I see how you see yourself. So this is how I see you. People see you how you see you. People see you how I see you. And I can honestly attest to that because I feel like when I didn't see myself as much, when I thought that this was as good as it got, that is as good as it got. And as good as it got was worse. You know what I'm saying? But when I started to enhance my vibration, enhance my awareness, when I really stood firm on I am worth more than this, niggas didn't even come to me with the mediocre at all. And even if they did, I was so aware and I was so in tune that I didn't accept it. You know what I'm saying? You accept what you feel like you deserve. That's what people don't understand. A lot of people don't like to account for the things that they go through, a lot of the things that they put themselves through. You accept what you feel like you deserve. If you didn't feel like you deserved this, you wouldn't accept it. You can cry and complain and kick and scream all day. I don't deserve this. I don't deserve this. I deserve to be treated so much better. But then you sit and you stay because you feel like nobody's going to treat me better than this. This is as good as it gets. Nobody's ever going to be faithful to me, so I might as well stay with a cheater. Nobody's ever going to not steal from me, so I might as well stay with a thief. Bullshit. There are people out here who don't steal. There are people out here who respect women, who love the person that they're with, who are faithful, who are honest, who are true, who communicate, who all of these things. You don't feel like you deserve it. Because if you felt like you deserved it, it would be nothing that would stop you from getting it. I didn't feel like, you know what I'm saying? Like, as I navigate through these relationships that I was in, starting from the time I was 20 to now, 20 years old, I was young. I was trying to find myself. So when I'm seeking answers about myself, keep in mind, I didn't know who I was. I was 20. I was a baby. I'm seeking answers about myself, and I have someone who seemingly is more experienced than me who has it figured out as a friend. You know what I'm saying? He got it so figured out, and he's telling me all of these things about myself. The first thing I'm going to do is just believe it. Because I didn't have that awareness. Because I didn't feel like, I felt like I was at a point in my life where whatever he was saying was law. You know what I'm saying? I let him dictate how I felt about myself. And as a result, it was showing him how to feel about me. No, it gets better. You just got to want better. Ask yourself, what is it that you really want? I want a faithful man. So why are you settling for a cheater? He's cheating. He's a cheater. He cheats, baby. That's in him. I know a lot of people like to say, oh, men make mistakes. Most times cheating is a choice. We wasn't walking down the street and a fucking earthquake happened, shook the whole ground up, and you accidentally fell on me and your lips touched mine. No, cheating is a choice. Right before people do it, they have the choice to not, and they don't choose that choice. So cheating is a choice. Don't let somebody convince you, oh, I cheated on you, it was a mistake. It was not a mistake. It was a choice. They 100% wanted to do it because if they did not want to do it, they would not have done it. So it gets better. You just got to want better. What do you want for your life? Ask yourself real questions. Stop trying to seek all these answers. You don't even ask yourself real questions. What is it that you want for your life? Do you want better? Do you want a nigga to treat you like you are his most prized possession? Do you want a man to respect you? Do you want a man to be faithful to you? Do you want a man to communicate with you? Do you want a man to respect your feelings? Do you want a man to see you as the only woman in the room when he walks in it? What is it? Don't tell me that you do, but then you're the type that is okay with him fucking off all day as long as he come home to you. No way. No fucking way. Ask yourself what it is that you really want. And then the reality of the situation is maybe you don't want what you think you want. Maybe you want the bare minimum. Maybe you are okay with the bare minimum. But don't blame that on him. Because a lot of times, for real, a man that care about you, he going to give you exactly what you want. And if you want the bare minimum, that man going to give you that. If you settling for him being the nigga that he is, and all you gonna do is fuss and complain, but you ain't gonna leave, why buy the cow when the milk is free? Okay? So I'm gonna let y'all process that one because that was a lot. I'm gonna leave that one for last because that's kind of deep. Being too independent as a woman. I grew up in a household with my mother who was very independent, who always instilled in me that don't ask a nigga for nothing. You know, this was how I was raised. Don't ask a man for nothing. Whatever you need, you get it by yourself. Whatever a man give you is gonna be extra. Don't depend on a man for anything. Make sure you have enough to pay all your bills to where if he decided to not pay him or stop paying him, you won't be fucking homeless on the street. Now I agree with part of that, right? But at 30 years old, as I'm starting to like break down my relationships, my needs, my wants, all of these things are starting to change for me because I'm changing, I'm evolving, I'm ascending. Dallas, what's wrong? Did it lock? Okay, I'm gonna give you. Oh, okay, he's gonna unlock it for you. Sorry, y'all. I keep a chair for my son because I am a mom. Where was I going with this? Independent, too independent that is hindering. I believe in half of that. I think that you need to always have your own so that I don't allow nobody to be able to really feed me. Because I think that as much as they be able to feed you, they can starve you. But like I said, I'm evolving, I'm ascending, and I'm becoming somebody who wants something different in my relationships, and I'm realizing that I have to be a certain type of woman to have a certain type of man. I am not going to sit here and tell you that today I don't want a man who doesn't provide for me. I do. I think that in a relationship, we should provide for one another. I think that everything in a relationship needs to be reciprocal. It doesn't necessarily have to be a whole bunch of gender roles involved. Like whatever you demand of me, I should be able to provide, and vice versa. Like I don't really want to get into this whole, the man is supposed to provide, blah 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 blah. However, I have been known to be so independent, like overly independent to the point where I don't let my man be a man in a relationship because I'm trying to play both roles. I think that a lot of that comes with how I was raised, what my mother told me, how the stars are aligned. I'm this grand Virgo, and I just feel like if I do it all, it'll get done right. I am a super control freak, and also just not feeling safe enough to where I can depend on a man to show up for me in that way. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the men that I have been with, and it doesn't just start with the men that I've been with romantically, it started with my father, and then on to the men that I've dated, I've been let down. So when you have a history of being let down, eventually you don't want to be let down no more. You keep touching the stove that's hot, you don't want to keep getting burnt. So for me, I feel like if I can provide it for myself, then I don't have to worry about you providing it because I already have it handled. But it doesn't mean that desire is not there. You know what I'm saying? As a grown woman that's going to be dating a grown man and we got all these grown things going on, of course I want my man to provide for me. Why not? Why is that such a bad thing to want? I don't like to compare a man providing for me and a woman giving up sex, right? Because a lot of people like to say that, like, oh, well, if he can ask you for some pussy, you can ask him for some money. I don't like to put my pussy in the same caliber as money. Money is disposable, right? We're not going to go there. However, I just want to make it general. If you can ask me for anything, whatever it is, my time, my energy, whatever, then I should be able to ask you for whatever. And one of those things may be for money. I grew up with a very stern, independent, strong mother. She did not ask men for nothing, like nothing at all. But also, that can be hindering. I'm realizing that can be hindering. My father, on the other hand, has always told me, like, men like to feel needed. Your man likes to feel needed. If he feel like he don't have no place in your life, he's not going to want to be in it. So you have to allow a man to blossom into the man that you want him to be one of those things is something that is just in his nature, and that's just to provide and protect and to be all of these things. Like I said on one of my other podcasts, there's a difference between a man who can't and a man that won't. If you just can't, then okay, that's something that we can fix. But if you won't, I have a problem with that. I need my man for a multitude of reasons, just like I would expect him to need me. One of those things is to provide stability. We are together. Yeah, like, yes, I'm not about to sit here and try to make it seem like I don't want a man to provide things for me. I don't want my man to buy me things or this, that, and the third. Men be so wrapped up and so caught up in the fact that they can make money that they try to protect it. Like, oh, let me protect this part of me. I can produce money, so I don't want nobody to take it from me. Get up out of that mindset, because see, me as a woman that loves people, that gives love, that shows love, I'm gonna take care of whoever around me, and it is not limited to my man at all. So I don't want my man to come in with that mentality like, oh, I'm not tricking on you. Why what? That's kid shit. If you go to the mall and you wanna buy me a nice gift, whether it's designer or it's not, buy it. I don't give a fuck. You know how long I spent loving niggas for who they was, and they just was shitty niggas? Like, what? So now I'm expected to not want you to have a certain quality, one of those qualities being providing because it makes me look a certain type of way? No. That is one of the things that I want from my man. That's not the only thing that I want from my man. While I understand that some women only seek out men who have that money, but let's be real. Those type of niggas, that is what they pitch to bitches. Oh, I got money. Oh, I can change your life. Oh, I can buy you this. I can buy you that. But then when a bitch is all into you for that, you have no understanding. Stop. You know how niggas be like, oh, women get on the internet and show their naked body, but then they don't want niggas to sexualize them. Okay, well, stop walking around being so fucking flashy and not expecting these bitches to want a piece of your pie. Put it up. Put it up. Put it up. Real money ain't flashy anyway. Put it up. All you doing is showing that you ain't never had shit. Put it up. If you don't want nobody to be wanting you for that, then put it the fuck up. Just like y'all say to us, and I get it. We get so upset when niggas be fucking creeps and weirdos and wanting to fucking just fuck us and sexualize us, but we sit on the internet with our ass out and our titties out and all this. Okay, put your money up if you don't want to spend it. End of story. Okay, so that was being so independent as a woman can be hindering. Okay, asking men for money. Okay, I kind of touched on it. And just to kind of go back on that, I still have, I'm not gonna lie, like I still have a problem outright coming and saying, hey, can you send me this? Cause I don't want a nigga asking me why. Like if I say, hey babe, can you send me $200? I don't want him to be like, why? Cause now I feel like, why are you trying to micromanage? Like if I need something from you, I just want to be able to get it from you. That's just like, oh baby, can you set aside some time for me on Thursday at 5:00? Why? He gonna be like, damn bitch, I just needed the energy. My life is in fucking shambles and I don't really want to have to explain that, but fuck it. You know what I'm saying? And then that to me makes me feel like I always have to give you a reason for you to just be there for me. I don't want to have to do that. I want you to just kind of be there for me because that's what you want to do. Like, you my man. Like, if I say, and then me personally, like, one thing I want people to know about me, like, whether it's my man, my friend, or whatever, a lot of times when I ask, it's because of two reasons. One, I'm trying to see if you gonna do it. And two, because I probably really fucking need it. You know what I'm saying? But, again, I've been let down in my life, and I have this really weird thing with people like not showing up for me. So I don't really want to put myself in a position where I ask somebody for something and then they either stall me out or they tell me they gonna do it and they don't do it. Like, I don't want to go through that. So that really be my battle. I'm almost certain if I ever got to a point where I had somebody who at the drop of a dime, no matter what, they will always show up for me, I would be comfortable. I have to feel safe. Like, I have to feel safe enough to do that. I don't want to ask you for something and then later on in life you throw it up in my face or you keeping tabs on what you did for me. Like, I can't deal with that type of shit. Like, don't throw no list out to me about what you've done to me as if this was like an agenda. Like, do shit for me because of who I am to you, and just who you are as a person. Don't throw that shit up in my face. Like, okay, yeah, as I'm not really comfortable. However, I'm getting comfortable. Like, if I need something, most times I don't though. But moving forward, if I need something and I'm like dealing with somebody on a serious enough level to where I feel like this is a safe space, I'm going to ask, period. And if you tell me no, I need to decipher between whether it was because you can't give it to me or because you won't. And then that'll determine where the relationship go. But don't be afraid to ask people for nothing, because people are not afraid to ask you for stuff. That's where I'm going to go with that. How to listen with your ears and not your ego. Woo! How many times have you had a conversation with somebody and you were listening to respond and not to understand? Like, I am very defensive. I get offended easily. I don't really like for people to criticize me. I don't really like for people to challenge me. I don't like confrontation. So if I feel attacked, the number one thing that I'm going to do is try to defend myself, and I'm not going to really hear what you're saying. But I think that is very important when you are having these relationships that you value. And I'm not just talking about relationships with romantic partners. I'm talking about friendships, relationships within your family, relationships within your company. Like, when something chaotic comes up and it's time for two people or more than one person, more than two people to have a conversation and to kind of just put it all on the table, and everybody's perspectives need to be heard. I think it's very important. Just for you saying that I value you and I value what you're saying and I value how you feel, I think that it's important for people to listen with their ears, like listen with an intent to understand rather than intent to respond, because those are two different ways of listening. Like, if I'm listening to respond to you, I'm listening to you get your shit off and I'm ready to retaliate. I'm ready to just come back with a rebuttal. If I'm listening to understand, I'm hearing everything that you're saying. In the same moment, I'm processing it. I'm articulating it. I'm trying to break it all the way down so that I can give you a conscious response without belittling you, without making you feel like your feelings are not valid. Like, I think a lot of times we invalidate how the other person feel because we're just so ready to respond and we're so ready to react. But you didn't even hear shit that I was saying because you're just so ready to oppose me. So when you are... Ooh, y'all, I'm gonna have a husband one day. And when I have my husband, I can't wait to just show him how much I've grown. Okay? Because when you feel attacked, when it's a certain situation, it's just a heated situation and emotions are rising. Yes, as human beings with real feelings and we're in real time, not fake time, the first thing you want to do is protect yourself. But when I think about my husband, the man that I'm going to love, that I'm going to spend the rest of my life with, I just know I'm not going to need no amount of protection from him. So when certain type of dilemmas arise, I am going to want to just understand everything about him. Like, why do you feel like this? Like, let me hear this. Like, break this down to me. Help me understand so that we don't come to this point again. You know what I'm saying? And not even just my man. When I reflect on my friendships, I'm talking about the people that I love and I know love me. If we ever have a disagreement, you know what I'm saying, and we ever have a chance to like communicate that, I'm gonna have my perspective, but before I throw my perspective on you, I want to hear yours, and I want to kind of just make sense of why you felt the way you felt or did whatever it is that you did. You know what I'm saying? And then we can discuss my perspective, or vice versa, if I go first or however it go. Like, I think that it's really important to listen with your ears and not your ego, because sometimes ego overpowers everything. It ruins shit. It is the barrier between rekindling shit, and it's just it can be a real bad thing. Like, if you got a super really big ego that is just unwavered, like, that can just be awful for all parties involved. Like, I have been known to have a really big ego. My ego and my pride can really get the best of me. But like I said, I didn't just get here yesterday. I didn't get here overnight. Like, this took years of me being my biggest critic and trying to figure out what it is that I can do to make my situations better or make my outcome better. And one thing that is a problem for me is I got a real big ego. So, with that said, please hold on. Y'all know how I go. With that said, if you value the conversation at hand or the dilemma at hand and you want to resolve, please listen with your ears and not your ego. It's important because your ego can kill a lot of shit. But listening and trying to understand it, it makes people feel important. It makes them feel heard. You know what I'm saying? It's not just to chew each other out, point the finger, nobody's accountable. Like, it gives everybody a safe space to kind of just be expressive. And a lot of times we don't communicate a lot or we don't express enough because there is no safe space for us to do so. So make your people feel safe, but also they have to make you feel safe. I think that every relationship in your life needs to be reciprocal. That is my biggest thing. And I don't even know where I am with time, but we just gonna go with it. But I wanted to save this question in particular for another episode. However, my baby father has relocated, so I don't really know like what that time is gonna look like. So for the sake of not knowing when we'll ever be able to get together and have this conversation as a collective, one of the things that somebody wanted to know is how do you, like, once the relationship is over, how do you co-parent with not only, okay, the relationship is over and the other parent has moved on. How do you co-parent with the other parent and their spouse now that their spouse is a part of the kid's life? So just a little story, just a little history about me. I feel like I've played both roles in my relationships. Like, I feel like at one point I was in a relationship with somebody who had kids and I didn't have a kid. So I was the girlfriend with a nigga who had a baby mother. And then at one point I was the baby mother whose baby father was fucking off or moved on and had a girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? And then I feel like I was the girlfriend who was dealing with I was the girlfriend with the kid who was dealing with somebody who also had a kid. So I've been able to see it from multiple different angles, and I'm gonna just take a moment to kind of explain to y'all what all of those angles looked like. So number one, when I was the girlfriend without a kid and I was dealing with somebody who had a kid, it was very, very rough. Because being young, not having any kids, there are things that you don't understand about parenting. There are things that you don't understand about, what you want for your kids. You can think about all these scenarios that you want for a kid that you don't have, but you don't have a kid. So in this particular situation, like I said, I was very much really wrapped up in him. Like, he really was like in my head for real. So I believed everything he said. Like, even when he gave me no reason to believe anything that he was saying, I had not had no experience in this area, and he seemed to have so much experience in this area. So it was like, why would I not believe what you saying? So I believed everything he said. I mean, he would say things like, I'm not, I don't deal with her. It's just more convenient for me to watch the kids at her house. Like, she works overnight, so I'm going to spend the night there. Like, these are things that I believed in my mind. Like, okay. And again, I was young, so it was like, I think that really played a big role. One, and then two, I didn't really want to believe nothing bad. I didn't want to believe that anything was going on because I wanted this relationship to work so bad. So I kind of made myself blind to a lot of the things that was really going on that I really didn't get to really resonate with until I later on in life had my own kids. So it was like, I believed everything he said. A lot of him making it seem like his kid's mothers were the problem, and they are this broken bridge between him being able to have his girlfriend and have his kids. And I really believe that. So a part of me harbored this resentment towards them. Like, why the fuck do y'all not want this man to be happy? Like, let him be happy. Let him have his kids. He's moved on. He's telling me that you're bitter. You're bitter. So blah, 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 blah. These were things that I believe because, you know, it was like, I'm going to stick by my nigga. If this is what my nigga is saying, then I'm going to stick by my nigga. Whole time, though. Whole time. Moving forward, I don't not play with niggas and they baby mamas. I don't. But whole time, it wasn't them, right? Again, disclaimer, I know that some women can be delusional and crazy and totally just stuck on men and won't let these men do all of these things. However, for the most part, a lot of times niggas will call you crazy and totally omit the fact that they made you crazy. Like, you are telling me that this woman won't let you see your kids because you're moving on, blah, 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 blah. Whole time, you want to be able to do what the fuck you want to do, but you don't want her to do what the fuck she gonna do as a result of you doing what the fuck you want to do. You know that if you fully indulge and you let this girl know that you're moved on and you want your kids involved, guess what that's not gonna stop her from doing the same fucking thing. So niggas have this whole thing with control. They want to be able to control what's going on over here, control what's going on over here. Oh, you better not have no niggas around my kids. Whole time you pitching it to your girlfriend like y'all about to go run off in a motherfucking sunset with you and your kids. She gets to love every part of you. She has to accept I got these kids. You gotta love me and my kids. She is so desperately trying to love every part of you. Whole time she'll never get the opportunity to love that part of you because you are trying to make your baby mother think that you want your family back. So if you want your family back, right? This is for all the baby daddies who play this game. As I get to dive deeper into this. If you want your family back, explain to me why your baby mother would be okay with your kids being around your said girlfriend. You want your family back. Why am I involving my kids in your new situation, but you're telling me that you want your family back? So that brings me to my to the next stage of my life when I did have a kid. You know what I'm saying? So now I went from being the girlfriend with no kids, dealing with a nigga who had kids with women who they liked to play back and forth with, to now being the baby mother. Right? I got pregnant by my baby daddy and everything was all about me. I was the one that he loved. I was the one that he wanted to be with. I was the one that he wanted to expand his family and he wanted this kid and more kids and da-da-da-da-da and blah, 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 blah. This is the end all be all. But when things don't work because of this and because of that, then he goes to be with this other woman. But at the same time, you want to play and be with these other women, but you want to tell me to stay put. You want to put me on ice. You want me to wait around for you. Oh, I'm getting it together for you and my son, blah, 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 blah. I want to give everything to you. It's hard for me to allow you to be who you are in those other relationships because you're still giving me a sense of false hope. Why would I take anything that you have serious, right? And this was my thing. This is again, me and my baby father are so far past everything that we've been through. But back then, this was my main argument. Why on earth am I expected to take anything you have serious with these women, so much so that I would allow my kid around them? When every chance you get, you're telling me that they mean nothing to you. They mean nothing to you. You want your family back, but the only reason why you can't have your family is because I don't want you. So you're trying to get it to a point where I want you so that you don't have to fuck with these women. You don't have to do this. You want to be in the house full time. You want the stability. You want all of these things. Why would I ever take your girlfriend or your hoes or whoever serious to the point where I would allow them to be a part of my son's life, knowing that on the back end, you're saying something totally different to me? So I'm working my way up to co-parenting. Please bear with me. So when it got to the point where I was like, okay, he's not going to leave other women alone. He's not going to fully commit to me and my son. This is breaking me. This is it's tricking my son. Like, I have to walk away. I did. Like, I walked away. Like, literally, I said, I do not want to deal with this no more. I cannot listen to you tell me that it's me. You love me. You're in love with me. But you're not at all showing me that it's me because you still have everything else going on. So me and my baby father 100% decided to walk away and to just, just part ways. And then I decided to start dating somebody to where we have a common denominator. We both have kids. So I was able to understand him much differently than I did my very first boyfriend when I didn't have kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was able to understand him in a way that I had never understood anybody that I was dealing with before. So with that said, I was like, it was, oh my God, I can't believe that. What is going on? Why am I so long-winded today? What is that? 40? 46? 46? Okay, I'm gonna wrap this up. Let me make my point. So, got to a point where I was dating somebody who we both had kids, so I could kind of understand certain things. Like, so when it would be an argument between, blah, 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 blah. My whole, please, if we've ever had this experience with one another and you come across this or somebody decides to send this to you, please know this. Any man that I have ever dealt with that has had kids, I have always told them, your kids need you more than I do. You need to be more of a father than you ever need to be, my nigga. So if there's ever a decision between you dealing with me and not being able to have your kids, please pick your kids. That was always my argument. I never fought for them to choose me or anything else. So with that said, I was able, we had similar, I could relate to him a little more because he had kids and he had they kids had different mothers and I had my kid and I was dealing with somebody, it was just like, we understood things. And then, so when things would come up about a kid, in reference to a kid, like, oh, my baby mother don't want my kid around you. Your baby mother don't know me. Your baby mother has no reason to feel any ill feelings towards me. I have never spoken to your baby mother. I have never said anything bad about your baby mother. We have never had any encounters. So now your baby mother not wanting your kid around me prompts me to ask you, what is the relationship between you and your baby mother? Why not? Oh, I don't know. I don't know why she don't want me to be happy. She got her own nigga, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Well, if she got, listen, when I finally decided to walk away from my baby daddy and I had my own nigga, I didn't give a fuck what he did. I didn't care what he did. It did not affect me no more. So you're telling me that your baby mother has a whole nother situation and she still doesn't want you to be happy? I don't believe it. What are you doing to add to this situation? And so I started to ask real questions and I started to dig deep. And guess what? Eventually it came out that niggas like to play both sides. Niggas like to make their girlfriend believe that it's one thing and it's not. So, for the question at hand, how do you co-parent with the other parent and the new partner? Very transparent. Me and my baby father, we have a very healthy co-parenting relationship currently, present day. So much so that if he's not answering the phone, I'll call his girlfriend. Like, if my son is there and I'm trying to get in touch with him and he's not answering, he'll be like, oh, he's not with me. He's at home with her. I'll call her because me and him don't have we don't have that type of relationship going on to where I'm so offended by her or I don't feel like I need to be in contact with her. At the end of the day, if my baby father, we have agreed that we're not going to be together, right? That's the thing. So you're with somebody else. I'm not going to make it hard for her. This is the woman in your life. You're a package deal. You come with kids. One of those kids are mine. So for the sake of that, my only request is that everybody involved respects each other. This is how I co-parent with my baby father and with his girlfriend. We all respect each other. I don't disrespect her. She doesn't disrespect me. I don't disrespect him. He doesn't disrespect me. The common goal and the common mission is to just keep this kid happy. Whatever that means. My son has a great relationship with his father's girlfriend, and I don't at all want to come in between that. I totally trust that my baby father would not have anybody around my kid that would hurt him. So that's not my argument. I don't care. I care, if my son ever decided to be like, oh, she's mean to me. I know that sometimes Dallas can be emotional and he can be a little bit exaggerated. So I'll investigate and I'll ask my baby father, like, did Dallas bring this to your attention, or did you know about this? Is this something that I need to step into? But for the most part, their household is not mine, and I trust my baby father to handle all things before it even makes it to me. So I have no problem with them and their relationship, her and her relationship with my child. Like I said, that is how we co-parent. The common denominator is just keeping my kid happy. So once you get past wanting to still fuck your baby father, you can co-parent with him and his girlfriend. So, I like that y'all give me things, things that y'all want to hear. Although I feel like I be talking about a whole lot. Y'all just don't be listening. But with that said, this is, I had fun with this one. This was very informative. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys are enjoying me. I hope you guys like looking at me because I think I'm cute. And this is a Nurse Kee podcast, and I will see you guys next week. 50